Hello, hello, hello. It says we're telling your followers that you're starting a live video. Well, I didn't promote this very much because I'm practicing as much as anything. New strategy that I'm teaching, and I want to practice first before I sort of have evidence that it works. And so, welcome. It should be a little early. It's almost noon. This is what I promised. This is why you're... Oh, hang on. It says hang on. Okay. I just did this whole thing for Facebook, so I'm curious if this is going to go slow or fast. I'm not sure. All right, I'm starting Instagram. So I want to know why you're here, and I'm going to tell you why I'm here. And actually, I'm going to tell you why you're here, because if you hang around, you're going to fit into some specific categories. But first, I want to know where you're from. I have a feeling most people are going to watch this on replay because I didn't really promote. Most of the time when you're starting something, here we're going to jump right into business coaching. Starting something new, you want to promote for weeks and weeks and weeks. But I wanted to practice and test what I am doing and learn the lessons. Like, what did I already learn today? I was telling my husband, we're sort of toying with looking at a new house, and we're house shopping. And it's crazy how just going out there has taught us so much, and this is exactly like that. So you are here. Oh, I know. I want you to tell me where you're from and hashtag replay. Like I said, most people I think are going to watch this on the replay, so I'm going to talk to myself. I'm going to knock this out in 20 minutes. So why are you here? You're either super curious and procrastinating scrolling. Either know me or don't. Maybe you were coached by me in business before, but you're just like fly on a wall. I totally get that. Number 2, you're in health and wellness or business, and you want to know what's killing your social media marketing game, and either it's going okay, and you want to know what could I do to level up? This is free. Let me try. Let me test. Or you want to learn something totally new because you have a lot to learn, or you feel like you have a lot to learn. Either way, I love that. So why am I here? Well, I'm crazy enough to believe that what I love to do and what I'm good at and what I've learned over the past nearly 2 decades of growing a health and fitness business and being forced in this massive pivot along with everybody else because of COVID, and I had a huge pivot even before that, where I was about to have to recreate my whole next business before COVID, put me in a position to really pull back and figure out that I can impact a very specific group of people and sort of share with them what I learned. I'm also a huge believer in winning when the circumstances make you maybe feel like you can't. There's always like a huge win in negative circumstances, and there's evidence of people out there winning during this time right now, and I'm slowly learning why that is. I'm partnering with people like that, and I'm also becoming that person. So a little bit about me if you are new. I built millions of dollars in health and fitness space once partly through a recession when most of my counterparts in the same setting as I were going out of business, going bankrupt, and pivoting into a whole nother industry. So I've invested heavily in myself to grow that up till this point. And then in the past year, like everybody else, I had to figure out, number 1, I was faced with creating an entirely new business. So I did 2 things. I went, like I always do, I went to investment. What can I learn in this new time? Because everybody's online. How can a health and fitness professional thrive in an online environment? That's COVID. Secondly, what should I do? So that made me do something I haven't done in the last 20 years. And that's stop and think about every single thing I've learned. And if I'm going to do this again, what would I do differently? And I had a lot to say. I really started writing, and then I started inviting people to be test cases with me so I could share with them, because what I found was there's a huge group of people who are either in health and fitness right now or entering health and fitness right now who need what I have to offer. And I was like, oh, there's this nice intersection. So that's why I'm here. I saw an opportunity also in this time when I think we owe it to each other, entrepreneurs, sales and business experts, to give. It's time to serve. People are in a hard spot. And when things pick back up, your customers, my customers, all remember the person who showed up and helped them when times were hard and served them and gave to them. So if that sounds good, I'm going to cover something that I learned about in social media. I called it copy versus content, and that's what I call it. It's what's killing your social media marketing game. But you may have heard of something called attraction marketing, but I'm going to give you specific, applicable, walkout steps for you to do as soon as I tell them to you today, within the next 20 minutes, less than. And one thing I'll never do, I'll never show up and teach you and just say, you've got to buy my course or coach with me or whatever to learn actually how to do it. You're going to have, I hope you have a pen and paper, you're going to be able to walk away and do something that makes you profits today. So you all have 4 choices, 4 or 5. Yeah, 4. When you're done. So I want you to be thinking about these things. If you find value here, if you stick around, if you put pen to paper and you make this list of things I give you to do and go do them and get profit, I want you to share this, comment, tag, share my account, tell people that I'm here. I'm willing to help and pull us all through this difficult time. Number 2, follow me, set your calendars. I'm actually going to show up here every Wednesday at noon and teach what I'm finding my test cases are struggling the most with and what's pivoting and leveraging them from where they are to success. 2 people that come to mind have had over 100% growth in the last 4 weeks working with me. Huge. And I'm not talking about just income, because if you spend $500 and you make $500 in income revenue, you actually profited 0. So I'm talking about massive profit growth, just having that business BFF in their corner. So I would love for you to come and be a part of that. Thirdly, implement what you learn. Just do it. Even if you don't want to give back to me or bring other people along or be a part, I want you to take what I teach you and do it. Maybe let me know, how did it go? It didn't go, it should go. Or let's clarify so we can make sure that you make the profits you deserve just from simple changes. So let's get into class. So we use social media because we love it. We have fun. We connect with others. We learn. And hey, listen, we all buy stuff. It's fantastic. It's really a huge power in our lives. And we know that other people can have fun, connect with us, learn stuff, and buy stuff from us. And that's the money that you're looking to increase from your business. We know it's huge for business because we're doing all of that. So we have evidence. We're buying their stuff. And hey, influencer is a job description, but it comes with huge pitfalls. And here they are. We mimic the influencer, but we don't really know what is driving them. So I'll teach you that today. Like right now I'm learning. In my Facebook, I learned that my screensaver comes on all the time. So we'll see what I'm learning here. Pitfall, we mimic the influencer. Okay, here's what that creates without what I'm going to teach you today. You're constantly feel tethered to your phone. You feel like you have to get up every day and come up with something to post. That creates noise. Sometimes that repels people. It gives you a lack of work boundaries. You feel overwhelmed. You feel like you're working all the time, and that takes away energy for you to do other profit producing things and actually serve people. If what you're doing is not serving people, you're not making any money, it's definitely not something you want to continue. So that is because you're creating content and not copy, right? That's really taking money out of your pocket, because the biggest assets you have are your time and your skills as an entrepreneur. And so if you spend your time at your current skill level and it's not paying you, then it's actually taking money out of your pocket. So the other thing it can do is you can be consistent with what you're doing and the results come slow, and so you just get discouraged and you feel like more grind, more hustle, rather than just up-leveling your skill set, which I'll teach you today. And then you can add that consistency to a new skill, and now you're having so much fun. You're serving people, you're making money, and they're loving you, and they're telling all their friends. That's what we'll talk about. So, think about this. If that sounded like what you're doing, imagine if someone offered you a job and said, hey, here's what we're going to... Okay, we're back. Here's what we're going to do. You're going to wake up every day, come up with something, nothing specific to post, try to make it interesting. Sometimes use the people in your life just for social media fodder. No guidance here, but just try to make it fun. And so sometimes, you might have to kind of pose something, and that can dominate all of your thoughts. So rather than living in your life, you're creating a show. And I'm not sure I can pay you anything. Not sure you'll make any money. Go for it. That's your job description. I don't know about you, but I would not take that job. I would not take that job. So the job I want is a plan and a system and exactly what to do that will return money to me. So in other words, will get me a paycheck. So that's what my goal is today. All right. So maybe you have a different scenario and what you're doing is working and you just want to sharpen. Okay. So side takeaway test. Oh yes. So content, not copy. Content, not copy. So you guys know what social media content is. Let's talk about what's copy. And I already talked about assets and time you could be spending, and profit and income. See, the fact that I've given this once today makes it go faster. Okay, so I guess I haven't gone over what I'll be talking about exactly. Okay, so here's the 3 concepts. Number 1, consider your perfect and raving customer. One of my friends, Catherine Marshall, calls this I think she calls it, I think this is right. If I'm not, I'm making it up, but it's exactly what I want to say. Your right and perfect customer. Your right and perfect customer is not you, necessarily. Typically, we market to ourselves without thinking about maybe who we were before we got started, because in health and fitness, the majority of us do it because whatever we're providing to others is something that changed our lives. That is not the norm in like business, I've found. And so we have a unique set of like maybe obstacles and a unique way that I can speak to you and where I see I can help. Because now you're transformed. You've had your results, and so you're speaking to yourself. So what you need to do is think about who is that right and perfect customer, and let me describe him or her to you. They love you. They cannot wait to pay you over and over as a repeat customer, and they tell all their friends and bring people just like them. How fun would it be to have a business full of them, right? So think about who that is. That's your homework. That's your right now, put pen to paper while I kind of go over 2 other little things. Hey, Merritt Fields. Number 2, you are promoting your business or using social media or whatever with no plan. It's kind of like having a health and wellness goal and saying, rather than have a food plan where I think about what I'm going to eat ahead of time with my goal in mind, making my best decisions right now so that I don't have to make decisions during the week, and I'll assess at the end of the week what kind of results I got. That is how we're going to approach social media. I'll talk about that next week at noon. And then in 2 weeks from today, we'll go over time tracking and figuring out what your most profitable activities are, reducing the amount of time you work, like raising a ton of awareness, and then making the time that you do work the most profitable. So that's a huge, huge thing that my test cases are absolutely loving. It's like mind blow. So let's flesh out the thing we're here today for, that right and perfect customer, right? Decide your right and perfect customer is who they are, what they're after. But biggest thing I want you to decide, ready, pen to paper, what's their number 1 problem? What's their 2 problems? I've had my test cases come up with 10. What are the 10 pain points, issues that your product or service solves for them? And then you're going to point all of your social media content, which this is making it marketing copy, to evidence that you solve that person's problem. So that's so like, for example, if you're a gym owner, and I can talk about this because this is what I did. I've made this mistake over and over, still managed to build a pretty good business, mostly because I knew this concept. I just didn't know how to translate it into online, and that's why I'm teaching you now. It is game changing. You have a perfect and right customer, and he or she needs massive weight loss, right? And they need transformation, and they have a long way to go. Okay. But your messaging is a bunch of people slamming weights down, looking buff, sweating, wiped out on the floor. So that, her problem or his problem is they're intimidated. They've failed before. They don't think they're going to fit in. It looks really, really painful. They're afraid they'll put forth all that effort just to fail. So if all you're showing is pain and effort and exclusive to super fit, cool people, then that's not attracting who you decided your right and perfect customer is. In fact, it's repelling them because it's intimidating and exclusive and it looks painful. So that's where your social media can cost you money. That's why picking up on what are they thinking, what are they up against, and how does what you do solve it. It's pretty quick from there to see that testimonials and evidence that you know their pain points and you have specific things in place. Like for us, I always said we didn't have an open membership. We were very, very private and small so that you can work out without being ogled, right? We had a specific, I forgot what we called it. It was almost 10 years ago now, but we had a culture there that I built and we built, our team built, and our customers built. It was not a meat market, and that was very intentional because that was not our ideal customer at all. And that gave people peace and freedom to come work out and feel like they weren't going to be approached. That was a huge seller for us. And for some people it wasn't. That's okay. You're not for everybody. The last piece of this is going so much faster, so you're welcome, that I will give you is once you share that, the only way that you will see the purpose of what you're doing on social media is to compel somebody to take some kind of action. Two things. Number one, if you don't tell them what that action is, they will not do it. And number two, if you don't tell them in the right way, they will not do it. So you have to repeat it and say it in the right way, and you actually have to tell them what to do. So if you're a gym and you want to start with consults, you just want them to go to your website. Do you want them to come do a free trial? If it were me, I would say direct message me right now. I'll chat in messages with you to see what your issues are and what you're up against, and we'll decide if a free consultation and free trial is a fit for you. That gives people the opportunity to know that you care about if they're a fit for them, and you're saying this is exactly what I want you to do. And you say it slow. And one of the things that I've learned is that you have to sort of you have to speak kind of like a kindergartner. Adults really respond well to instruction that is given in very clear, very simple, here's what you need to do. It's funny because it doesn't feel normal to us, but on the receiving end, it is everything. That is called, look this up, you're looking up content, marketing copy, avatar, look up call to action. So now your social media has a purpose. You have a person you're talking to, you have the content, the piece of it's going to be evidence you solve that problem of that person, not yourself, right? Not to look cool to your buddies, but to solve the problem of that person. And then call them to action, tell them exactly what you want them to do. So you have to decide all of that, which sometimes that right there skyrockets your profit. So content tends to be more like marketing copy is a type of content, but what we see our health and wellness friends sharing and what we can sometimes fall into is sharing our content, which is our features and benefits of our products and services. I sell CBD, and so I can be like, it does this, and here's the science, and this is why you're in a great mood, and you no longer have aches and pains, and you feel like you're 20 again, and your mind is clear. That's okay, but I can do it in a very different way that is much more compelling. A gym, might talk about how like you live longer, you have more energy, want. We've all heard all of that before, so it's much better to speak to solving the problem of that specific person. Testimonials, systems, products, and procedures that solve their problem. So that's what you say, and then you have a call to action. So right here, I have a call to action for you today. So obviously this is free. Obviously I am seeing with every single person I'm working with, and I'm telling you now, I feel that this will increase your profits. I think if you do this and put an effort towards this, it will increase your profits. So here are your choices. Number one, you can implement this. And what that will take, so here I go, I'm slowing down. I'm going to be simple and give you steps. So here's how my call to action looks. It will take you setting aside time as soon as this is over and reviewing what I said and figuring out what your next 3 days posts and stories would look like based on what you learned today. Does it have to be perfect? Trust me, speaking to your ideal client, even just thinking of them while you're pushing stuff out, is already more profitable than whatever you were doing in the past if it was to everybody and just features and benefits. Do 3 days. Figure out how much are you going to be on social media, how much do you want to show up, what does it need to look like, and just do 3 days. While you're in this kind of mindset, that's the equivalent of cooking and packing your food with your goals in mind versus trying to show up and decide what you're going to eat and then cook it and then clean it up and da-da-da. It's an impossible situation. So I'm challenging you to do 3 days using what you learned. Number 2, recommend this IG Live, recommend my account, recommend me. I am Anna Smith on Instagram, and Anna Smith on Facebook, or at Uncommon Optimism is my business page. I'm going to be showing up every Wednesday, putting out posts, and inviting you to a free 3-day class at the end of the month if you want to join me. So, share, follow, be with me. Number 3, reach out and apply to be a test case with me. I'm not sure that you're a perfect fit, but I want to make sure that you fill out a questionnaire and we have a conversation, and I know that you will get such major results that you will absolutely want to be a repeat client, that you will love what you hired me for, and that you will tell all of your friends. So I want to assess that first, right? So that's something that I'm teaching as well. Number 4, set your timers, and we'll see you Wednesday at 12. All right, I think that's it for today. I'm so looking forward to growing together, seeing you on these platforms. I'm looking forward to any and all feedback, and I think I'm done. First IG Live under this new umbrella is done. See ya.